Hello and welcome. I'm Vladimir Vlad. These are top 5 African-born UFC fighters. As well as you know, Africa has never been a home of UFC legends, and in the beginning of the UFC there were not at all fighters from Africa, but the promotion grows regularly, everything develops, and there were some fighters who were born in this continent, but their families emigrated to the USA or other countries. But yet, those guys still have African origins, and these fighters are ranked high on the list of the best African-born fighters. Some of them are even champs, some fought for the title, but there is no more this stereotype like he is from Africa and he is not a good fighter, you can just forget about that. Our list is not big, but we'll introduce you to some of the biggest names of this continent. Let's now start with number 5. Abu Azaitar. Abu Azaitar is a competitor from Rabat, Morocco. At the moment he competes in middleweight division. He is known for the nickname Gladiator. Gladiator has only had one UFC match where he earned the unanimous decision victory over Vitor Miranda at UFC Fight Night 143 on July 22nd, 2018. Yet he has an MMA score of 14-1 and he has one of the greatest potentials in this division. So you never know, maybe he'll be the first Moroccan guy to ever attack the title. He was attacked for the suspicious criminal past, but he is a good fighter, you know, that's the reason I put him in the 5th place of the best African-born UFC fighters. He fought in many various promotions like KSV, SFC, RFC, WSOF and many others. Abu didn't lose the match since 2012. You can say he's a rising UFC talent. You never know, we can see his real qualities when he faces a superstar or some other great fighter. Number 4. Abdul Razak Alhassan. The best Ghanaian mixed martial artist of all time, Abdul Razak Alhassan was born in Accra, Ghana, and he is known for his nickname Judo Thunder. As a black belt in Judo, he competed there and then changed to MMA, which means he's a great clincher and a fantastic round guy. He also fought in Bellator and Legacy Fighting Championship. Abdul has a UFC score of 4-1 with only one defeat to Omar Akhmedov via split decision in UFC Fight Night 109. He holds wins over notable names like Nico Price, Charlie Ward, and Sabah Homasi. This knockout artist competes in UFC welterweight division. All his victories came in the first round via KO or TKO. He is one of the strongest fighters in the middleweight division, and that is the reason I put him on the 4th place of the best African-born fighters. Number 3. Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya is one of the best kickboxers of all time who competes in UFC middleweight division. He was born in Lagos, Nigeria, and ranked second he's ranked in Taekwondo as a second dan, as a great Taekwondoka, great striker. But on our list we put him on the 3rd place. Adesanya has a UFC score of 5-0. He has no MMA defeat in his career at all. His last fight he defeated Anderson the Spider Silva at UFC 234. He hasn't fought a real superstar yet, but you know, Anderson Silva is just a guy who could give him a nice way to progress. And the last stylebender is a former Glory middleweight champion of the world. He also won 3 King of the Ring tournaments, known for amazing kicks and spinning techniques. As well as I already mentioned, he trained Taekwondo at a young age, and his mother put him a prohibition, but this didn't stop him. As his family moved to New Zealand, Adesanya has always had a passion for martial arts. He was just about to continue. Israel Adesanya defeated known names like Rob Wilkinson, Brett Tavares, Derek Brunson, and Anderson the Spider Silva. He's one of the most contenders for UFC middleweight title shot, especially after his win over Anderson, and we put him here high on the list of African-born UFC fighters. But you never know, I mean, he could face some really serious name, and we'd see what would happen if he faces Tyron Woodley, Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington, or even some other fighters with different style. Number 2. Francis Ngannou. This legendary fighter was born in Bati, Cameroon. But Ngannou lived very hard, had to work in a local sand quarry when he was 20 years old due to the lack of money. His nickname Predator comes for a good reason. This man can handle everything. He's ranked so high on our list of African-born UFC fighters because he is one of the strongest punchers in the history of UFC, and he had the strongest result until Derek Lewis broke his record. Francis Ngannou is a Cameroonian mixed martial artist who secretly went to France when he was 26 years old to pursue his boxing dream. Despite he hadn't place to eat or sleep, he got lucky when he started training with Didier Carmon, who made a UFC superstar from him, and introduced him to the world of MMA. Despite Ngannou wanted to be a boxer and pursue a boxing dream, it nearly ended when he heard he won't compete in boxing, but he decided to test his luck and had his debut at 100% Fight Contenders 20, where he defeated Rashid Benzina on November 30, 2013 via submission. He earned a score of 5-1 before joining UFC, collected 6 victories in a row. He defeated great names like Bojan Mihajlovic, Curtis Blades, and Andrei Arlovsky. At UFC 218, he shocked everybody when he put Alistair over him to sleep via left uppercut in the first round. But Francis Ngannou is actually one of African-born fighters who fought for a UFC title, and he was defeated to Stipe Miocic via unanimous decision UFC 2-0 on January 20, 2018. Later he had one of the worst matches in the history of the promotion, where he lost to Derek Lewis via unanimous decision, where he threw only 11 punches during the whole match. But it looks like Francis Ngannou is back on track. He overcame crisis, TKO'd Curtis Blades after only 45 seconds in the first round UFC Fight Night 1-for-1 main event, which was held in Shanghai on November, and I got to say that Francis Ngannou is on a great track. He is recovering. He also had one more victory in the meantime, and I got to say Francis Ngannou could really be a guy. You remember his match with Cain Velasquez and what happened after only 26 seconds. I mean, if he could defeat such a name like Cain Velasquez so fast, he is only a guy who could probably get a chance to fight for the title soon, and I believe this will happen. Number 1. Kamaru Usman, the Nigerian Nightmare. Kamaru Usman is born in Benin City, Nigeria. He was nicknamed Nigerian Nightmare with a good reason. He is not the rival you'd like to meet inside the octagon, as he is the best on the list of African-born UFC fighters, the current UFC welterweight champion and TUF 21 welterweight tournament winner, which happened on July 12, 2015. Kamaru Usman is a man with also fantastic clinch game, and his family, as well as you know, immigrated to the USA when he was 8 years old. Kamaru competed in NCAA Division II wrestling, and many while compared him to Tyron Woodley when they were saying, oh man, he was Division II, this one was Division I, but Usman was a lot better than Tyron Woodley demonstrated what a superb wrestling means. He has an MMA score of 15-1 and scored 9 wins, 0 losses, and with Tyron Woodley it's a score of 10 wins. He defeated Leon Edwards, grappling legend Damian Maia, even the former UFC lightweight champion Rafael dos Anjos. Well, Kamaru Usman is on a great way to defend his win streak, and on my channel you can find also his beef with Ben Askren, who is probably jealous of his successes and wants to take him off the title. But Ben, I've got to say you will lose this title, and better don't fight Kamaru Usman or he will show you a lesson. Colby Covington is also having a beef with this Nigerian superstar, but you never know. Kamaru Usman will wreck the whole division. Maybe he's not the most interesting fighter to watch, but I've got to say I've never seen such a good wrestling in UFC, especially in welterweight division. And as well as you know, at the beginnings UFC was attractive only in American soil, but later as the promotion expanded, African fighters became more popular when Francis Ngannou fought for the title, and when now Kamaru Usman worked on the promotion. Well, we got to say we expect a lot more great African-born UFC fighters. Oh, don't forget you can find us on besttopListBG.com, and you can check this article for more info if you are interested, and please rate and subscribe.